Hey everybody, in this video I want to name the 10 World Cup teams for 2018 that impressed me the most during the late March international break. Consider this sort of my top 10 power rankings. Now, I just want to clarify before people ask me, what do you mean this team is a top 10 team? That's not what this is about. It's not a top 10 team in the World Cup. It's not a top 10 team even in the world. It's just a top 10 team that I feel made the best accounting of themselves in the recent international break window. So, just to be clear, power rankings are not the same thing as actual international team rankings. I say this, I know a lot of you already know, but a lot of my subscribers do not have English as their first language. And even, a few days ago when I released my April Fool's Day predictions for the 2018 World Cup, I had some confusion in the comment sections because people thought that I was serious when I had Panama winning the World Cup. So, I just want to stress that this is just a top 10 power ranking, not an actual ranking of the best teams. So, if there's any confusion in the comment section, don't worry, I will gladly explain it. And if there is confusion in the comment section and I happen to not be online and I don't see it, and you see comments like this, please give me a hand and help explain this to some people who may be confused. But for the most part, my audience is awesome. Thank you guys so much. And let me jump right in, okay? Number 1 on my power rankings is Brazil. Surprise, surprise. They really impressed me the most in this international break. They look honestly unstoppable at this point. Very comfortable victories over both Russia and Germany, of all teams this week. Gabriel Jesus honestly should have had more goals, but it wasn't just the fact that they beat Germany. It was the fact that they beat Germany without Neymar, in addition to really, really limiting Germany to just one shot on target the entire game. Germany absolutely suffocated Germany's midfield. Toni Kroos, after the match, blasting his own team, saying that they were pretty much horrible. Brazil outclassed them all over the pitch the entire match. When you limit a team like Germany, the defending world champions, and a team with as much depth as them, to just... Sorry about that. But when you limit them to just one shot on goal an entire game, I'm sorry, but I think this Brazil team is just a class above the rest. And I honestly not only consider them favorites to win the World Cup, I think they're overwhelming favorites. Number 2 is Spain. I've been high on Spain for a while. A lot of people insisting they weren't relevant anymore, but I always said no. Spain are a top 3 side in the world. And ever since qualifying for the World Cup 2018, they have proven, they have demonstrated how far they have come since tiki-taka. They are still a very high-pressing, tight, narrow passing kind of team, but this brand of tiki-taka under Julian Lopetegui, it's an evolved form of it. And if Spain just sort out their issues up front, they find a striker, maybe Diego Costa can finally mesh in well with the team, I think Spain are contenders to win the World Cup. I think they are the European team in the best form at the moment. A lot of people have been writing off Spain ever since 2014 and 2016. I refused to do so, and it looks like my sentiment on it has been validated. Spain can absolutely win the World Cup. Number 3 is Uruguay. Uruguay continuing their fresh form after qualification. Recent China Cup winners. Cavani and Suarez both doing really well at the moment. A lot of players that are playing in top league divisions in Europe, like Bentancur, Georgian de Arrascaeta. I think Bentancur stars for Juventus. Couple of really great goals from Cavani during the international break in the China Cup. One was an overhead kick. I think Uruguay look really good right now. They finally sorted out all of their midfield problems. Finished second in South American qualifying, and I don't just consider them a dark horse to potentially win the tournament. I think they are realistically among the teams who can win it. Number 4 is Germany, because even when Germany play not to their greatest, they still impress me. Germany, they, in their first match of the break against Spain, a wonder-class thundering strike from Thomas Müller outside the box to level the game at 1 apiece against the Spaniards. Germany did not have a few of their starters in the match against Brazil, but Brazil are also missing a few of their players as well. Germany, though, you can't knock out the defending champions. I mean, even when they how's the saying go? Even when Germany plays at their best, they still find a way to win on most occasions. The ball is round, there's 90 minutes to play, and at the end, the Germans always win. Germany, even when they're not doing so well, they still impress, and they still do much more than they should. Case in point, the 2002 World Cup, back when that was arguably the worst German team of the 21st century, and they still found a way into the final, for God's sakes. So, number 5 is England. Yep, I am really high on England. I'm giving a lot of love to England, and here's why. Let me give some statistics. 8 consecutive games undefeated. 6 of those 8 games have been clean sheets. 5 clean sheets up until the match against Italy that should not have been a penalty for Italy. Should have been a victory, a 1-0 victory for England. Getting positive results against teams like Brazil, Germany, and Italy. Brazil, Germany, Italy, arguably all 3 teams, even Italy, that are better than England, yet we're not able to beat them. England got 3 draws against Brazil and Germany, arguably the 2 best teams in the world, and then an Italian team who they should have beat, in all honesty. So England, on top of that, English football is having a great year. 5 teams in the round of 16 UEFA Champions League, under 17 and under 20 World Cup victories in late 2017. Even in the women's level, the women's national team is among the 3 best teams in the world right now. So it's been a very good last year and a half for English football. And the national team, they look boring. They don't look very exciting. They look like there's not a lot of creativity. But you know what? They're getting results. They're efficient. It's working. They're getting results against teams that are better than them. And that's saying something. Number 6 is Colombia, coming from behind, defeating France 3-2. Receiving words of praise from French goalkeeper Hugo Lloris and French manager Didier Deschamps. Colombia taught France a lesson in aggression. That's their words, not mine, but I agree with it. And Colombia very much looking solid heading into 2018. Now, they drew with Australia, so that sends a little bit of a mixed signal to their opponents, but Colombia, they're still a South American team. South American teams always bring that extra bit of grit with them. And when you knock off one of the World Cup's favorites in France, especially when you're in France and you come from behind, that gives you a spot on this list, in my opinion. Number 7 is Morocco. 2 victories, one over Serbia, one over Uzbekistan. Morocco, as always, under Hervé Renard, continuing their defensive domination, but also an abundance of creativity in midfield. They have a whole horde of potential goal scorers in Russia 2018. Several players, including the likes of Ziyech and Boutaib, to name just a few. A lot of Morocco's goals do not even come from their forwards. They come from the midfield position. And Morocco, continuing the excellent form in qualifying into the international break, I think Morocco can certainly come out of their group in the World Cup. It's going to be tough, but Morocco can definitely do it. In my opinion, Morocco is the second best team in Africa, behind Nigeria. I do think they're better than Senegal because I think Senegal, despite all the individual talent they have, I think they are a young side that's relatively inexperienced. Case in point, the 2017 African Cup of Nations. But even though I have Morocco the second best team in Africa, they might just be number 1 based on current form. We'll have to wait and see. But Morocco, they can be the Costa Rica of this tournament. They absolutely can. Number 8 is Peru. 2 victories, one over Croatia, the one on Iceland. That's great because those are 2 teams in their sister group. In Group D, Peru is in Group C. Edson Flores, Paulo Guerrero, Raul Ruidiaz, goalkeeper Gales. Peru, what makes me really positive about Peru is I trust Ricardo Gareca. I know this guy, this manager, this Argentine. He has, I've mentioned in previous videos, probably the healthiest relationship with his players of any team heading into the World Cup. This team is riding high on confidence, on momentum, and they're going to bring their passion into the tournament because this is the first time they've made it back since the 1980s, early 1980s. And Peru is going to be a really exciting team in this tournament, I feel. They're going to do something special. Number 9 is Tunisia, another African team who won both of their games in the international break, coming against two teams that were better than them, that are better than them, at least on paper, just Costa Rica and Iran, at least in my opinion. But maybe not, because Tunisia defeated both in 2 clean sheets, 2 1-0 victories. I saw large stretches of the game against Costa Rica. This Tunisian team looks solid. They look really solid under Nabil Maloul, who is having his second stint at the job at the moment. And they're going to be even better when Youssouf Missakni comes back in time for the tournament. But in the meantime, Wabi Khazri is the guy that is shining for this team. His goal was absolutely beautiful. And I think Tunisia can be a spoiler in their World Cup group to upset one of Belgium or England. You saw my serious updated 2018 World Cup predictions video. I have them advancing from their group. And number 10 is Switzerland. I was worried about Switzerland mostly, and I still don't think Switzerland will advance from their World Cup group, but they eased some of that worry over the break when they thrashed an albeit not very good Panamanian team 6-0. It could indicate that Switzerland's goal-scoring problems that they demonstrated towards the end of qualification and against Northern Ireland in particular might be in the process of being remedied. Putting 6 past Panama, even though Panama's arguably the worst team heading into the tournament, I still feel like Switzerland may have just found their mojo again. So that's my top 10 of the teams that most impressed Football Pharaoh in the international break. And I guess you can basically call it a de facto top 10 power rankings as well. So leave a comment below, like, subscribe. I'll see you later today, hopefully, God willing. Have a good one. Much love and peace out.